well, you better get your passport. You need to be in Exeter for 7 o'clock in the morning. Pack my stuff, obviously grab your boots and all that. Couldn't find my passport for love and money.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rugby Through the Leagues podcast. As you can see, this is probably the first one in our new studio. Finally got it sorted, and we've finally got this podcast episode sorted as well. It's taken nearly a whole year to get this finally one in the diary. Josh, we obviously met at the Heart of Wales Sevens last year. We are now, a month short of Heart of Wales Sevens this year. You were guest coach for the game against the Shane Williams Invitational. We won't discuss the scoreline because I'm pretty sure he had many more ringers in it than most of the guys that were pissed from the Flaming Unicorns. How did that all come about? Obviously, the Flaming Unicorns shirt in the back there. How did that all come around, and your involvement within the game and within the charity? Because that's not the only one that you've been involved in, is it?
Yeah, so how we started really was getting invited to Heart of Wales to DJ with Jordan, and then he's like, "Oh, do you want to be guest coach?" Not knowing anything about it, and then all of a sudden the first year was a bit like, "Oh, what's going on here?" How much of a good crack it was, and I was back there last year, but like meeting guys like Stu and all the work they put in is amazing, and it is tough. It is hard. You're back to back with charity stuff. And like the graft that people have to put in for it, so much goes on behind the scenes that you don't notice. And then when it actually comes to fruition, you're there, you get everyone together, getting players there. And at the end of the day, they're there for a good crack, bit of rugby, and on the booze ends.
You hung up your boots due to it was a neck injury and concussion and stuff like that. It all sort of accumulated, and the Flaming Unicorns are a men's mental health charity. Obviously, when you kind of finally had to make that decision, it was not quite on your terms, but you kind of had to do it. Was there some dark times there, or did you already come to terms with it? And
because it was my neck that I finished on. It happened out in South Africa on the summer tour. Came back, obviously let it settle in before pre-season. Had injections in, done my physio. Wasn't getting better. Like probably 2 months down the line, we were like, "Oh, we need to look to operate here." I was like dead against it, but speaking to the surgeon, he's like, "Right, you need it operated." So I had the operation. Felt good after it because I was like driving to training for 45 minutes, just holding the steering wheel, and I was getting like tingling down my arm. So I had the operation. That kind of went, but like it was like something always constant. So I used to bench press like 130, 140 kilos comfortably for a good amount of reps. And I was struggling. I remember when it was coming to the end, and I kind of knew this was like doing 4 months down the line. I was like, I had like 100 kilos on the bench. I'd get like 2 or 3 reps out and then come off it. And then like my arm would start hurting, my neck would stiffen up, and I kind of knew then, well, it's not completely right. Went through the same cycle, eased back, tried to go again, and then it was kind of the same thing, getting back to 100 kilos, and then it was still the same. And then sat down with the surgeon told me, and I was kind of like, I'm never going to step on the rugby pitch ever again. Like, I'm not going to have that feeling of going out match day, crowd, doing the competitive nature of the game. And it was kind of like I had 30 seconds to myself, and I was like, right, on to the next thing, because that's how I always used to do with my rehab. I was always, you get injured, right? You can moan about it for an hour or two, but then you got to look at the next step forward, where obviously getting your shoulder right or your ankle is kind of like, well, you can't do anything about it now. You just control the controllables, as you would say.
That's quite a swift turnaround as well, though. 30 seconds to end a career from being on a Lions tour, summer tour to South Africa, to 30 seconds and right, I'm on to the next one.
It's because probably it was such a long period. I had basically Christmas off, and then we came back in, and they literally went, right, go on the field you go, and someone just bumped me, and I was like, yeah, my neck in, right, like just touch rugby we were doing, and I was like, yeah, something's not right here. So it kind of probably that helped. because I knew at the back of my mind. But my dad's always said to me, every game can be your last. So it's kind of how I played, and I knew I gave everything to it. Like when I was younger, I never used to drink. Obviously, the boys used to call me the human mattress because I slept so much, just getting my naps in. You miss like social events at times. Like say you got a game on Saturday and something's going on Friday. Sometimes you'd be like, oh no, I can't go because you got a game. So like even if it's for dinner and little things like that. So like you do sacrifice a lot, and kind of like if probably I did end up on one cap, because I had a big spell with that, 4 years till I got my second. If I did probably have one cap, it probably would have sat with me a bit different. But I was lucky enough to obviously get 30 odd caps, win championships, Grand Slams, go on a Lions tour, which was kind of like the cherry on the cake for me.
I think there's a lot of English fans that are probably quite glad you retired, to be fair, mate, because that seemed to be the one game that you come alive. Not that you were an exceptional player from what everyone used to be able to watch, but those English games, did that reignite just a whole new different level in you? Because you seem to be over every ball as an English fan. I was thinking, for fuck's like, it was so hard. I was just like,
it was a weird one because every time we played England in Six Nations, when I was obviously 2017, I kicked on. It was kind of always fell like around that Fala week time. So we would play like 2 games. Wales always known for being a slow starter, and then we'd have the Fala week, get beasted, and then we'd play England in that game, and it'd always be one of them that we had such a build up for it. Gats would be saying, "Oh, the English boys ain't doing this. You're the fittest. You're fitter than them, and all that. You're working harder." And it'd kind of be like a mentality thing. It's the rivalry, isn't it? But it's so good. Like on the Lions tour, like I've met loads of boys like played previous, like Saris and stuff, and the boys well. But when it comes to like doing your country, it's a completely different ball game. And it's special. It's such a good atmosphere. It's so close, like travel. Do we?
Yeah, we probably need to touch on the current situation in Welsh rugby then, because it's not in the glory days, but there's glimmers of that, it being reignited. In my opinion, I don't think it's on the pitch that's the issue. It's behind the scenes that's causing more of the problems. I think it's a confidence situation. What's your viewpoint from being within Wales? Obviously, not having to be selected, you can probably be a bit more honest now.
Well, to be honest, I'm glad I'm out of the. I wouldn't play in because like the year that the boys have gone through, I think like it would have been so tough going from 4 regions, talk of 3, then down to 2. Do you mean it was so much noise? But some players, say you thought, oh, your region was safe, you might vote, oh yeah, we would happily go down to 2. And then when your region's on the line or your club, it's a bit different then. But it's had a huge effect on what's happening on the field as well, because it's a constant thing, because every week something new is coming out. There's rumours, this is going on, that's going on. And it's obviously been put on the back foot now, which they're sticking with 4. I don't know if they still got plans. I saw something in the press yesterday that so an ex-player leaked something. I genuinely don't know. It's kind of, I feel like it's just the boys and even backroom staff as well.
Yeah,
is massive, because you got your physios, you got your coaches, you got kit guys, you got everyone and even like to do the commercial side, you got people there as well. So there's so many people that are on the line with that. And like I was a Bajen boy, so they got rid of Celtic Warriors, where they merged Ponty, and it kind of sits sour to this day with me. But it'd be the same with any region now. Is 2000s, they went to the Osprey Scarlets, they went to that regional style with 5 clubs, and they dropped to 4. But that's, it's been 26 years or 25 years of that. Yeah. Where is a different fan base now. So it could be a 25-year-old going, yeah, I'm an Ospreys fan, I'm a Cardiff Blues fan, I'm a Dragons fan. If you lose one of them, you've lost and you're starting again. Like it's going to take that time again. And end of the day, if the clubs are doing well, it's all about money when it comes down to it all, and that's the hard thing, because at the end of the day, you need, I think it was like £8 million budget with 60, 70 players to be competing in Europe, like top flight Europe. So
Yeah.
it is tough. And you look at Leinster, their squad's ridiculous, but you look at the Wales squads, they probably got 40 players in each region, and I don't know, say 5% or like 6, 7 players are academy players who are their first year with the senior. So it is difficult, and at times with Ospreys, I think they didn't have a team to go head to head against, so they're asking uni boys to come in. Where when I was playing, you had Martin Williams, Xavier Rush, Mamamol Tika in the back row, and then us academy boys, if we got 1-2 reps in training, we done well, we'd be on the reserves. So we'd be the 15 going against the starting 15. So it is changed. And I always say if money, like someone did come in and have loads of money and could like bolster the squads, like grow the squad, it would change it. But times are hard. Rugby's changed since COVID.
It's 4 regions as well that you need to try and fix. It's not just because there's no, you can't just change one region in Wales, because it will then, everyone will kind of sort of still flock a little bit towards that and weaken the other 3, and then that becomes an exponential issue as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you look at it, like you want your best players starting all the time, but
yeah.
I remember when I was coming through that, when Phil Davis was coaching, you play 3 games and have 1 week off.
Yeah.
So we had, like what Saracens used to do a lot of, you play, I think, start 2 games, like you feel fresh, you can get your niggles right, you can get your conditioning, you can get your weights and what you need to work on. And then that goes into the Welsh team then. So you're fresh, you're fit, you're strong. But you look at, I think Alex Mann played, I think he's probably played every Cardiff game last season.
Yeah.
And then he's played for Wales as well.
And he's probably going on the summer tour as well, and the Nations League and everything.
Yeah, so that's probably where it comes to hinder, because you can't work on your fitness, your strength, what you need to take into international rugby. And I remember we always used to have a week off after Six Nations, because it's such a long campaign. You get hammered, and then you need that recovery week to get back into your Cardiff Blues and all that.
So, go on. I'm gonna challenge you on this one. Players moving abroad and the cap limit. Do you agree, or do you think you've got to scrap it while you rebuild Welsh rugby?
The hard thing is, like, it kept me in Wales, so I nearly went abroad. And this is like, if I didn't start playing for Wales, I didn't want to give that up. I wouldn't go in. Nah, I'm happy having a couple of caps and moving abroad. So I always wanted to put a red jersey on and play in a World Cup. That was always my dream. And some players do make that decision and regret it, which you've seen happen with that 60 cap rule. But it's been dropped right down, because obviously the bigger cap boys have left, and they have to try and get not everyone and everyone, but get the players that have moved away, like Jared Evans and Harlequins doing. He didn't have that many caps at the time, so they need to reduce that to keep those players. And it's one of them. It's difficult, because you want to keep control of your players in the Welsh regions, because then you get looked after physio-wise and stuff. I knew for a fact I had problems like with my hamstring stuff. If I went to play in England or France, I was getting flogged every week. So it doesn't matter where you go, it's always going to be that case. But in Wales, you get looked after. If you got a bit of a niggle, they might go, actually, yeah, we'll hold you back this week. We won't play you. And then it means you're not getting injured for longer. And obviously Wales is obviously the ambition.
But that must be quite hard, as you said, though, if the squads are depleted and Alex Mann's having to play like that. That idea and process has completely changed, because there isn't the player depth, there isn't the player pool available for those Welsh clubs to safeguard the asset for the international team. So you're kind of in a catch-22 situation now, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's a difficult one, and it's never a right or wrong answer. But you see, I know isn't, well, Safka used to do it. You have to be playing in Safka, which lets the country control what the boys do and like how many minutes again a week or how many games. When it's coming into Wales Cup, you can see like boys getting pulled off early and stuff. Yeah, so like just not playing as many minutes, which is the right thing at the end. Like doing that's what you want. And if we can keep every Welsh player in Wales and being competitive in the league, that's a massive thing. It's like Cardiff now. Like I would have loved to be in the position in the playoffs where they are now to try and move forward with it.
Rugby just needs a good Wales side back. Like it's kind of integral to how world rugby runs. Is a good Welsh side is always there to upset teams.
Results haven't gone our way. If you watched Wales, you can see like in the autumn, you can see we were getting better. We played. Yeah. I can't remember the last game we played, and I think it was New Zealand, and we got battered. But like all the boys who played in England have gone back.
South Africa, wasn't it? It was like the 70-pointer they put on you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the All Blacks, we played really well and played
done really well. Yeah.
Game. And you could see like glimmers. And if we finished on that All Blacks game, you'd be like, oh yeah, like looking good to go in the Six Nations. Then we played South Africa. Didn't go the best. And then coming into the Six Nations, I was like, right, if we just picked like two wins up and there's performance there, and it showed at the start we played like England, France, we were miles off it, and then just too many penalties, like little things like that, which you never. I think it was like 20 penalties, and like you always say, keep it below 10 penalties.
Yeah,
internationally you can't do it, but then that Irish game, just the performance the boys done defensively. And then leading into the other games is just, you saw glimmers. And I think going into this Nation Series now, hopefully we see more of that and the boys developing and growing, because it's a new coaching squad. They haven't had loads of time with the boys. And you think like how many games internationally play, like the goal is World Cup. So it's having these games now, finding the combinations. And I know the last 3 games, it was the same team picked for the first time since Tandy's been in, and it shows that he's getting to know his players. And I think coming into this summer part now and leading into Nations series, I think that is massive for Wales, and hopefully we see a bit more of what we have seen in the Six Nations, because that's, I know the boys are like, this is our benchmark. We want to go above that now. So
yeah,
they'll always be thinking, oh, what can we do better? Like, where can we improve? And I know the great coaches there, and I've worked with Danny and Jockey at Cardiff, and the level of detail is outstanding. I worked with Tandy in the Lions, and Dan Lydiot's here now, and he's a top bloke, and you'll fit right in. So
yeah,
he's a really good people person, but he's always a good bloke, like being around the changing room. So I think you'll give that energy off. And defensively, he's one of the best in the world.
Oh yeah, he's another absolute menace as well. Warren Gatland, then you were under him for quite a period of time, obviously with the Lions, with Wales. Did he need to come back?
I think at the time he was the right decision, because anyone who came in wouldn't have known majority of players, how the players worked and all that. That would have been a hard thing, and like how Welsh people are, because like the boys will work, like you go out, tell them to run for an hour, they'll run an hour solid, and run into brick wall. So he understood that, but I think at the time, like before World Cup, he was probably the right man to come in. And I think it was difficult, like after, because there were so many people, like you had Dan Bigger retiring, finishing, like George has finished, Alun Wyn, like Ken Owens, like Jonathan Davis, like these are players who have been there since probably 2011, even longer than that. So it's so hard, because you've got a new squad coming through. We had some tough games, and then it's an uphill battle then.
Is he still revered as much as he is in Wales? It's not tarnished his reputation?
Yeah, no, it's like there's a massive board in the barn, we call it. It's got the gym, indoor, like kind of indoor training facility.
Yeah.
and is a massive red board with all the championships who won Grand Slams. And like you look at it, and I don't know how many of them he's got. There's probably majority, but like him coming in and what he's done for Wales this is what we expect, and I think what people expect as well.
Yeah.
So that's why probably it's been so hard to go through the times we have recently, because we expect it as a Welsh person. Then, hang on, if you look at a couple of teams previous, you do have lulls. Do you mean South Africa had it?
Exactly. New Zealand had it. They've all had it. Everyone's been there. England are constantly on one at times at the minute.
Yeah, so like you do have it. So you need to like you kind of do take a step back to move forward. And I'm hoping, I've always been positive about the boys in the Welsh team. Is like we have got the players there. It's just doing not the performance, like just getting results over the line. Because if you win by a point, that's what you look at. Oh yeah, we won that game. No one remembers it. I remember when we beat France out there for the 2019 Grand Slam, and Gats came in the change room after, and he's like, "Mate, boys, I know we didn't play well, but we won." And that's all that people look at. And it shows that from that first game, we played terribly, started really bad, to the last game against Ireland for the Grand Slam decider. It was like another level. And I always say that's the best game I've ever played in. It was like one of those games that everything went our way. Like Ireland didn't have an answer for anything we were doing. Like looked at the Irish pack like 20 minutes in, and normally when you look at teams, you kind of know when they deflated, and they were just deflated. So and if you go from that first game to our last game, it's a completely different side.
How does that feel, winning a Grand Slam? So I was there when England managed it in Paris as well. They obviously done it. Dylan Hartley had a nap for 20 odd minutes on the pitch, and obviously England come out. But actually being on the pitch, being part of that, the amount of emotion, and just, is it relief? Is it exciting? Does it kind of go, is it a roller coaster? How does it go?
For that game, I think it was weird because I've never played in a game that's gone one-sided, but there was a lot of chat in the week of how difficult it is to get a Grand Slam. And I didn't realise that until we lost in COVID to France out there in the last couple of minutes, and how close you come to doing something special. And that's what I remember Alun Wyn banging on about all the time, like how close you can come to doing something special. And it is such a hard thing to do, to win every game. And like that, the way we done it in 2019 was special, because like we didn't play well against France, led into Italy, got through that England game. The roof blew off the stadium when Josh Adams scored that try in the corner. I just remember I was like, I can't hear a thing. You're like running back, and like there's like a couple of minutes left, and we're running back, and he was like, "All right, boys, next job," and all this, and you couldn't hear each other talk because it was so loud. And then played Scotland. Weirdly enough, I got food poisoning like early on in the week, so I didn't. I wasn't in training that much, and I played, and I was like deflated, not enough like energy. But we got through that game, and then played Ireland then at home. And there's all this chat in the week about having the roof open, they're going to come here, dominate us, like do their proper, like the old school Irish game. And Richie, it was completely the opposite. Yeah, it was amazing. Like, there's always something I'll look back on, like how lucky I was to be in that position. I've got 2 championships, a Grand Slam, and was close to getting another Grand Slam, but it's rugby, it's sport. You win some, you lose some.
Exactly that. And how crucial was to have a leader like Alun Wyn throughout that period? He must have been like the glue. I know you had exceptional talent across the pitch, but to have one leader try and bring all of that together, it's easy for talent to sort of split, but to gather everyone. Obviously, I know it was the Welsh mentality, etc. But he's probably one of the ultimate captains. If you're going to select a captain in a dream 15, he's probably got to be up there. Even from an Englishman, that really hurts me to say, but like
it's kind of like one of them, like you hear stories, and I didn't realize I used to mess around with him. So like he'd always be like the first to every drill. You'd sprint, like you'd finish one drill, he's sprint into the next. So I used to
Really?
just like try and like egg him on and beat him there and stuff. And he used to be my, like, if we'd done fitness, we had this bag drill. I would always go on with him because no one else would, because he'd be flat out from the start. I remember my first home game. It was 2017. I remember it was 75 minutes gone. I'm gone, like legs are shot, trying to chase this kick down. And then Alun Wyn comes hearing past me. And I'm like, how is he doing this still 75 minutes? And like, it kind of like always like sat in the back of my head. I was like, I should be doing that. And he's just like very good talker, knows how to like motivate the boys, knows the game very well. And he just led by example. Like you wouldn't have to do too much. He was a stalwart once, even before I got to like 2017 when I started playing a lot more. And it was one of them that you respected him anyway. And he was one of them that I remember it's a clip flying around where Jake Ball and him had a little tussle in a unit session. And he was on the bench. I'm pretty sure he was either on the bench or not playing that game. Yeah. And he was causing absolute murder in the session. Like he was like, but basically that's why the fight broke out. And if you watch the clip, like the only good punch that lands on me, because me and Ken are trying to break him up, and I guess it whacked in the face. But it's just, that's how he was always competitive. And I like, you look at like a lot of the boys, like Dan Bigger, they got that competitive edge, and it's in training, and they always demand the standards. It's so hard, like internationally, like everything's on the money. Like, yeah, you do have the odd bad session, and then it'd be like, Gats, right, off the field, we're done here, we're not, no more, that's enough. And then I've had like the worst session we've ever had, and we've beaten like Toulon for Cardiff. Like it works weird. So it's knowing when to call it a day. But you had so many boys who have been there, done it for a number of years and well respected in the squad, that they all kind of like, it was a, like you'd say your senior playing group. It was like big. Unit, it was a lot of, it was like many captains in that one squad when Al was doing it. So you'd bounce off each other. Like even when I used to captain for Cardiff, like I wasn't a big talker. So, but then you got your 10s, your 9s and stuff who
don't shut up.
Talk a lot. Yeah. But that's, you got the right people to obviously drive your attack, drive your defense. So it's kind of led that way.
Yeah. That's, as you said, Justin Timberhick and obviously Biggs, and there was enough around, like as you say, become like a leadership.
You go through the whole squad, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
George, like he's been there for so long, like doing it.
Yeah. Probably the greatest Lions try ever, probably from George North as well. Yeah. So obviously, Gats, I caught one little bit there that you said when Gats said you were having a bad session, and Paul just said, right, well, that's not the first time I've heard it from a few players. Is that quite common for certain coaches to say, right, we're just not going to keep training dog shit, we'll just get off the pitch and go again later on? Or
I don't know why, but Gats knew
when it went
how to get it right. So like, I knew we'd start you'd start the Six Nations. You look like we always used to have the session plan put up before training. So you always used to look at it, how long it'd be, and it'd be like 55 minutes, 60 minutes, and you'd be like they intense. We wouldn't stop. And talk. We'd do the chatting after. It'd be like bang, 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 go, go, go. And then as it came later on, and at times you just pick weird times, right? It'd be like you put something up and it'd be like 25-minute session. And like you'd have 5 minutes units before, and you're like, oh my God, we're training for half hour and we're done for the day. And like it would change your energy. It was weird because I always used to look at it and go like, oh, we only got a 30-minute session, let's go. Like it would change the boys' energy levels. Yeah. And he got that so right so many times. But then he knew at times when to like
switch it.
Yeah, so you have your Fowler week leading into England. Normally I'd have a niggle during those times because the boys would get flogged, and you like his sessions where you've got probably half the starters who have played the first two games. like on the sideline doing off-feet conditioning, and then the boys who were in the squad getting flogged doing runways and like triangles and stuff. And you're like just watching this and you're like, this is horrific. And there was one drill that Gats done. He had it was like something like 6 or 5 defenders, be like 12 players. And if you drop the ball, you'd go into coat hangers, or Heine Mullers they're called, but it's like coat hangers. Literally, the boys would like, that's the thing, the boys would be scared to drop the ball. And if it was like poor attack, you were like, right on the line, off you go. And he knew how to do it, because like that week you'd get hammered, and then the following week you're ready to beat England. So he was very good at that.
That Lions call up then, how does that go for a mere mortal like myself? How does it go? Do you kind of get a bit of a nudge, and somebody says in the corridor, you're going to get a letter, or do you get a phone call? How does that all go? And so does it seem real? Because a lot of players have also turned around and said they thought their mates were ringing them up to take the piss. Did you think this ain't fucking real? Somebody's trying to pretend to be Gats.
Yeah, so you get a letter, and I think it's like 72 players selected. Right. So only like doing, say, 35 end up going on tour or what have you. So I obviously didn't get selected to the initial squad, because they obviously went to Jersey and done a camp there, and then played Japan up in Scotland before flying to South Africa. And the weird thing is, I was coming back from a shoulder injury. I had an operation, and then you go up the band, they got this machine where you test how strong you were. So I just done that. I was walking back to my car, and then as I was walking past, I seen Gats, and he's like, "Oh, just make sure you keep that shoulder all right, because it's a long tour." Because like at the end of the day, I was like, I didn't have the op, because I knew there was a chance going on the Lions tour, and it was enough there like to get strong to be able to go on tour. And then it could have been right for like 2-3 years, but the first game for Cardiff, I dislocated it, so it went straight away. But my call-up was, I was watching the Japan game in the house. My wife was out there an all-day brunch. I'm sat in the house on my own, just watching the game, and Alun Wyn goes down with a dislocated shoulder. I thought, he's out. Like, he looks like he's proper dislocated. He's out, the way he's holding it. Tip brick goes off and can't see much about it. And I thought he's maybe had a head knock, and they've pulled him off. But later on, like literally an hour later, the boys had, I think, obviously finished the game. They've had food, and I got Alan Phillips, Thumper, ring me, who I worked a lot with. He was team manager of the Lions, and he was team manager of Wales. I answer the phone. Signal in my house is terrible. And I moved to, like, I kind of knew what was coming, but I didn't want to anticipate it. So I was like, went to my front door where I knew I'd have good signal. And I answered, and I was like, "Right, mate?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm good, mate, but not as good as you're going to be." I was like, "Oh, why is that?" And he's like, "Well, you better get your passport. You need to be in Exeter for like 7 o'clock in the morning." I was like, "All right, okay." So he's a mad panic now. I've rung the wife, rung my family. So I've gone to pick my wife up from Cardiff, came back. She's steaming.
Yeah.
I had all day on it with the girls. So I get back, pack my stuff, obviously grab your boots and all that. Couldn't find my passport for love nor money. Couldn't find it anywhere. And I always keep it in one drawer, and it lives there. Every time I come back, straight away in one drawer, and I forget about it. We played that France game in that the COVID game that we lost. And obviously that was our last game. We've obviously gone the beers after we were in the team. And I thought back, I was like, that's the last time I've had my passport. Where would it be? And this is 2-3 hours later. I turned the house upside down.
Jesus.
Anyway, went in, just put my hand in the jacket I was wearing. It was the first pocket I tried, pulled it out, and I've had my passport. I was like, oh, this is like 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to be at the Vale for, I think it was like 5:30, 6, meet Adam Beard, because he got called up for Alun Wyn. And then Richie, we had a taxi down to Exeter, gone a private jet up to Scotland, and then met all the boys. And I'm still like all over the shop. Like, not even, it hasn't even sunk in, because you see the boys, oh yeah, how's it going? All right, and all this. And then, anyway, straight on the bus, straight away to Safka. And then until I get like in the hotel in Joburg, put my bags down, like sit down, go, oh, I'm bloody on a Lions tour here now. Like it kind of just didn't really sink in. And for me, like Lions wasn't like, I always wanted to win a World Cup. That was my dream. And I never thought about Lions in the same way maybe some other players did. But like, it was kind of like, for me, it was like something special of my career, because I never thought about it. But it was like the cherry on the top kind of thing. And to be out there, I know it was COVID, but watching it, like the last tour, was amazing to see all the fans, the sea of red. But to be around the boys that were on that tour, they were all top blokes, and it was a bit different. Like all we could do was play golf and drink. So it was kind of felt like an old school kind of tour, which that's what the Lions is about, is keeping that tradition alive. And if you're not playing on the Tuesday or Wednesday game, you can have a couple of beers, and vice versa. If you play on that Saturday, you have beers after the game, because you're not playing the next. And when it comes into test time, then you kind of obviously try and ease off it. And then when you kind of know you're not on that playing squad, you just go, you get to do whatever you want, really. But yeah, it was special, and it was amazing. Like the game that I was meant to play nearly didn't go ahead because a couple of boys had COVID. So we were like, I was like, all I want to do is run on that pitch. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes and they call the game off. I'll be happy to get on that pitch. And ended up getting on the pitch, and it was just, something special. And it's hard to write it, really.
Do you still have the shirt? Did you manage to keep like the Lions shirt that you wore?
Yeah.
Wow.
I still got all my shirts. The mad thing is, like, because you collect shirts, you swap shirts and all that. I got an attic full of jerseys. I got like Cardiff jerseys all out up my attic. I've never had them framed, and I'm like, I need to get them framed at some point. But it's coming around. I don't know where to put that.
Well, you've obviously, we'll get onto this now. You've obviously, your job roles changed slightly. You've now a DJ, you've got a bright pink bar and stuff like that. Maybe that's the perfect place for them to go at the back of the bar, because I'm sure the missus won't, like my wife, won't let you put them around the front room and stuff like that. They've probably an allocated spot in the garage or something. So you need to find somewhere you can put them on show.
Yeah, I thought about putting them on the bar, but I was like, how can I fix these down so they just don't get stolen? Because the upstairs is open and all that. I thought, I have thought about it. But yeah, it's different. I mean, I was lucky enough with DJing like around like 2016, 17. I was like, I need to get something a little bit more out of sitting on my PlayStation for 6 hours playing Call of Duty. So I ended up buying my DJ decks. One of my best mates now, he used to DJ in Cardiff, and because I was going out all the time, when I played my best rugby going out all the time, I kind of met him, and then literally he taught me like just the basics. And then from there, it's kind of got me like doing. I've been all over with work, obviously, Heart of Wales, like meeting some amazing people, and it's given me, instead of like the general Q&A, like people ask me, "Oh, can you DJ an event?" I done the kit launch for the Commonwealth Games for Wales
I saw that the other day.
Yeah, so in John Lewis, that was really, really good. It's like little gigs like that I like. Yeah, you had Ken Owens doing the aisle walk, but it's kind of special to actually be able to do that, provide the music, and I've done some cool events. And then the bar was like one of them that got offered to me on a night out. I was like, well, how much do they want for a bit of back and forth? And then I ended up in my garden like a week later. So lived there for it got delivered about August, and then lived there till like June, and then I got into Sophia Gardens for the
cricket and that.
Yeah, the cricket. So it was England International was the first gig, and we only had half the bar running because the cooler packed up. So it froze up, so it went down to like minus, I don't know, 20. Yeah, so it wasn't the best. Like, you learn and you move forward. So it's gone well. Yeah, like I've been fortunate enough to like just kind of step out of rugby and move forward, because you do find like, oh, where do I find myself kind of thing. And I've always been active off the field, but I used to buy and sell cars, and they go wrong, and it's kind of like one of those things like, no, I can't do this. Like it's hard, like, because people obviously spend money, something goes wrong with a car, you don't expect it. Like if you've got a brand new car, it's all right, but I've been in a car that's done 50 miles and it's gone wrong. So it was kind of one of them. I was like, this is too much of a headache. And then luckily the bar took off around about the same time. So I'm lucky enough. And then the wife's got me doing DIY around the house, because the bar's on events. So it's kind of not an everyday thing, but looking to, like, got another unit now. So looking to have one that's more mobile than 4 shipping containers.
Yeah, I saw the other day that you were picking up another one. So how does that? And obviously, why the pink? Where did that sort of? Because they're bright pink. For those that haven't seen them, they are bright pink shipping containers with you and your DJ decks, and there's like a brand piece there. Where did that? How did that come around?
Well, they weren't even that brand thing. So Pretty Little Thing had them before me.
Okay.
So the guy knew used to be in Ivy Asia, Cardiff, and we were like just having a couple of drinks, food, and he showed me. I just saw value in them, so I was like, oh yeah, I knew I could probably sell them for a little bit more than I paid. So I was like, oh, I'll be easy. I'll get into Winter Wonderland. I'll do this, do that. And it wasn't as easy as that. And I kind of learned that quite kind of fast. So that's why they lived in my garden for so long. I didn't touch them. So 3 weeks before the first event in June, it was had the meeting with Sophia Gardens, and like, oh yeah, we want it. So there's no bar fitted, so it was set up as a cocktail bar. So it was just like ice buckets. The flooring was rotted and needed to be repainted and stuff like that. So within 3 weeks, I had to get all that done. And by the time like the first week goes, like obviously waiting for materials, stuff like that, and then the painter didn't turn up to paint the bar, and he was moving probably. I was like, I'll give myself a week just in case, because I've never set them up, put things together. So he didn't turn up on the Saturday. So I had a quote from someone else, and I rang him and I go, mate, I'm desperate, yeah. And luckily he was doing a job down the road.
He was like, happy days, thank you very much.
Oh, no, he's actually done more work in the house. I've done a walk-in wardrobe, but he sprayed them all. So luckily enough, he was like, oh mate, I'm working down the road. I'll come down there, spray that, and then I'll go do that and keep doing that, vice versa, every day. So within 2 days, it's all painted.
Oh wow!
Painted up, got delivered, and then I had to put it's decking around. Never put a deck, and it took about an hour and a half. Like me and my mate lifting it up, and he's a big bloke now, but he's terrible on the tools. I was like, mate, I'm never gonna have you back again. Like my best mate from growing up, and he's picking the pallets up, the deck, and it's like, oh, yeah. They're probably 3 meters wide, very really heavy, and he's picking up from the corner. I was like, my back's gonna break now. So he's kind of learning how everything went together, and it's the full, when you put the full thing up, is a bit more tricky than just stacking the bars. So it's kind of I was figuring out as I was going along.
So a lot of people have just assumed that you got somebody in, and then you just turn up, turn the DJ decks on, make the music happen, and
the DJing's easy a bit. You just press play.
So was that always a passion, music, or did you just literally fall into DJing as well? Did that just come as a byproduct of being out in the clubs all the time on the piss?
No. So obviously I never used to drink. I used to go out sober and stuff. I'd only drink off season, but it kind of stemmed from when I was younger. I had my iPad, I had DJ software on it. Didn't know what I was doing. I kind of knew how to match the music with beats and that. I didn't even actually somehow I worked it out, but I weren't any good. It was hard. It was really hard to do on the iPad. And then I used to play guitar growing up, and I wasn't good. But I was always into my punk rock, pop rock, stuff like that. Sum 41 kind of all that. I never used to listen to dance music. My brother's full on Clubland mad when we were younger. Really? And getting ready for school, he used to have it blaring at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was turn that noise off. But it's kind of how full circuit is. full circle, because like the older stuff now like goes off really well DJing. It's kind of like I probably play more dancey stuff. Like I love hip hop and R&B, but you got to play what the crowd wants. So I kind of play a mixture of it, like hip hop with a dancey beat behind it. But yeah, it's kind of like I've always been into my music, but it was one of them that I didn't realize where I'd be today. Kind of getting some of the gigs I had, like doing Principality Stadium in the middle in front of 70,000 people. I'll never get a gig bigger than that in my life ever again. I don't think. It was just, I remember doing a sound check the day before. I was like, right, I need to make sure my USBs work.
Yeah.
Obviously, they make sure all the lines are good. Like they're getting sound through, like quality and all that. And I stood up and I looked. They put the stage in the middle of the pitch just to do a rehearsal. I look up and I'm like, what am I doing here?
So I think this is probably the perfect time to finish up, because I'm going to be at Hartwell Sevens. Hopefully we've got something big planned to sit down again for there anyway. If you had to relive one match or one moment in your career, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. With so many, it's hard. Like, Bilbao with Cardiff, winning the Challenge Cup, like doing my shoulder 5 minutes in. Like it'd be nice to play the full game. Doing your first cap, like I had the worst first cap ever. I broke my nose, got knocked out. It was horrendous. Lost to Japan. It was the worst first cap you could ever have. And then you go back to that 2019 Grand Slam game.
Yeah.
And then when I got injured in the quarterfinals of the World Cup against France, like if I got through that game and then played against South Africa, like I'd love to have played in that to try and, like, we just lost.
Yeah.
And it was one of those days. It was wet. It was one of my type of game. And never know, like we could have played England in the final, but it's so many games that you go back to. Even I go back to when I was in school. We played 2 finals in the Welsh. You play year 9 and year 11, and we lost both of them. I always sit to this day, and when I see my coach, who coached me through school, it's like the team we had, we should have won both years, but we bottled it basically. They were good teams, but there's so many. But yeah, that's probably 2019 Grand Slam, or I'd go back to when we played France and we lost, like to try and have an opportunity to win another Grand Slam again. Yeah, I've thrown out a little too many, haven't I?
No,
you have the top 10.
Yeah, mate. I think the only common theme is you were injured quite a lot, to be fair. Like, I think that was
later. That was later on. I was all right until 2017, and I got injured all the time.
Josh, really appreciate your time, mate, and I'm glad we finally got this one in. Hopefully, we can get another one at Heart of Wales 7 sorted as well. But for those that haven't booked their tickets for Heart of Wales 7s, what can they expect? What is it about that tournament that keeps bringing you back every year?
Oh, I think it's absolute carnage, isn't it? There's so many sports going on, like doing the setup, the DJs, the acts, doing the bands that they have. It's quality. It's such a good. Like this is my 3rd year now, and like we're going up for a social with our touch team. So it's one of them. It's so like. It's so big. They've done such a good job, and it's amazing.
I didn't realise how big it was, because I got, can you come and play the 7s on the Sunday morning? I was like, yeah, no worries. And they're like, it's on the pitch. I'm like, which pitch? So they're like, the one in the far field. I was like, how many fields are there? I was like, they go through this little river, don't you? And then there's another whole pit. I'm like, I was lost.
The lorry, innit? It's like
that's
the lorry.
The lorry tunnel over the river, yeah. But yeah, Josh, really appreciate your time. For everyone that's joined us today, make sure you go get your tickets for Hearts of Wales 7s if you haven't already. If you haven't got tickets, just go. It's one hell of an event. Obviously, get to meet Josh DJing on the Saturday night as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do 2 nights. Yeah, I do 2 nights. Yeah, 2 nights.
Make sure you join us on the next episode. We are hopefully going to have this finished and another amazing guest lined up. But for those that want to make sure they can follow Josh's music, it's on Instagram, everything like that as well, under your Instagram
Oh
handle?
yeah, I don't do any music.
It's
I
everywhere.
mix porridge.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Hope you enjoyed this one, and join us for the next one. Cheers.